Young-oh and Jaehyun were such a beautiful couple that everyone envied their love. Suddenly, one day Young-oh discovered that she was pregnant. Upon learning that he was going to be a father, Jaehyun was overwhelmed with happiness, and he made a plan to propose to her. Unfortunately, on his way to meet Young-oh, Jaehyun was hit by a car driven by a stranger. After the accident, Jaehyun's memories from about 3 years ago completely disappeared. Jaehyun's mother also took the opportunity to separate Young-oh and Jaehyun, causing her to misunderstand him even more. Will Jaehyun be able to regain his memory and meet his child later? Let's follow along. In a small corner of the street, a couple was talking, looking very tense. I just need one word from you, just say that child is mine. The girl sadly looked up at the guy standing in front of her. And he kept asking pressing questions, that Yena is his daughter alone. Just say Yena is our daughter. The girl trembled before the guy's harshness. She pursed her lips and pondered, I'm the one who has to endure everything. Involuntarily, she slowly raised her hand. And gently touched the guy's face. Why does your face show such extreme pain? Who heartlessly made this man so desperate? He also grabbed her hand and earnestly begged, tell me, please confirm it to me. His words made her even more heartbroken, I have to. Say that for this man. She gently let go of her hand. She chose to reveal all the secrets she had been hiding for so long. Yes, the child is yours. After hearing the words from the girl's own mouth, his heart pounded wildly. She hesitated and continued, that little girl is ours. 7 years ago, she was extremely confused when she held the pregnancy test stick with 2 clear lines in her hand. No way. How can this be? This girl is Lee Young-oh. At that time she was just a junior in college who had just stepped into life. Young-oh still couldn't accept this harsh truth. She collapsed on the table in helplessness. There must be a mistake. I don't remember. I just went out for a drink. No, could the problem just be the alcohol? Calm down, be calm. She hugged her head and tried to remember the events of that night. Then everything started to go wrong. After drinking alcohol, Young-oh and Jaehyun had intimate moments together. He confidently promised her, I won't do that. Just thinking of that part made her face blush completely. Oh my, what is this? Thousands of questions appeared in Young-oh's head. What should I say when I meet him? Will he agree to take me to the hospital? What if he gets angry? She pointed to the pile of pregnancy tests on the table and shouted, how can you be angry with that? It's his fault, Jaehyun, it's all your fault. While Young-oh was at a dead end, she suddenly received a new text message. She suddenly remembered that it was time for her date with Jaehyun. Our date. Without thinking much, she quickly swept all the pregnancy tests into the drawer. But one test was still left on the table. After getting ready, she quickly went down the street. In the bustling crowd, Young-oh tried to look around to find Jaehyun. A few minutes later, she finally found him. Young-oh quickly called out, Appa. She happily waved to young Jaehyun, this is my boyfriend, a 4th-year college student. As soon as he saw her, he immediately asked, why are you dressed like this? Then Jaehyun subtly put his jacket on Young-oh. We've been dating for 6 months now. The first time we met was 8 months ago, that day when I was in Australia on a working holiday visa. I met a man while I was standing and crying in front of the Korean department store because I hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. He lent me money without hesitation when I said I was exhausted. Since then, we've met more often. He's really kind. This thoughtful man is also very reliable. He always follows and protects me, always a perfect person until now. While Jaehyun was fixing Young-oh's coat, the girl became embarrassed, so she quickly pushed his hand away and grumbled, hey, I have my own fashion sense, okay? Jaehyun laughed and praised, it suits you very well. But in Young-oh's heart, she was still troubled by thoughts, but is he perfect in using contraception for me? That in every moment of our body's pleasure, everything is under control. She quickly brushed away those thoughts and held hands with Jaehyun to stroll on the street. The guy turned his head and asked, do you want to go eat something? She replied with a smile, I'm full. Suddenly Jaehyun stopped. He made a cute face and turned to ask, did you just refuse to eat? Young-oh stuttered, not knowing how to explain, because she was currently feeling very nauseous. Jaehyun stared at her face suspiciously. He gently put his hand on Young-oh's forehead to see if she was sick. That caring action plus the handsome face of a Korean guy made her heart flutter even more. He suddenly touched both sides of Young-oh's cheeks. After knowing that she was okay, Jaehyun put his arm around her shoulder and said, let's go, I'll take you home. A romantic sunset at Young-oh's house. Jaehyun carefully told her to go home quickly. Taking this opportunity, she also asked him, you should come in with me. He immediately refused, no, you look very tired, go home and go to bed. Young-oh smiled brightly and said, no, I'm not tired at all, I have so much energy, On the surface she was happy. But in her heart she was extremely distressed. Don't go, I need to talk to you. Even though she tried every way to keep Jihan, she couldn't change his decision. I still have some things to finish, so let's meet next time. Suddenly a male voice called Young-oh's name. Jihan instinctively turned his head to look. A young man waved to Young-oh with a happy face. She quickly recognized that it was her senior. As a habit, he ran to pat her head and kept asking, "Hey kid, how can you not see me for a whole month even though we're neighbors? Are you that busy?" She only knew how to answer. "Yes, I've been a bit busy lately." The senior laughed and teased her, "Busy dating your boyfriend, right?" And so the two talked happily without remembering Jihan's presence there. As soon as that senior turned his head, he was startled to see Jihan's dark and murderous face. To ensure his safety, he quickly tried to get out of this place as quickly as possible. "Okay, have fun playing, see you later." Young-oh also smiled and waved goodbye to her senior. "Yes, drive carefully." After the senior's back disappeared, the smile on her lips also disappeared. She turned to explain to Jihan, "He's a senior who lives in the same building as me, his room is also near mine," but the guy ignored that and told Young-oh to go in. The girl was wondering, "I thought you said you had something to do." Jihan didn't say a word, making Young-oh even more confused. Both slowly walked up the stairs. When she stood in front of the room, those chaotic thoughts reappeared in Young-oh's mind, making her even more worried. "I don't know why he changed his mind, but this might be good for me. I need to tell him. But where to start? What if he misunderstands what I want to say?" As soon as she stepped inside, Jihan rushed to hug Young-oh from behind. The bag on her shoulder also fell to the floor. Jihan whispered in Young-oh's ear, "My Young-oh is so crazy beautiful." He also made a serious face and said, "That's a big problem." Young-oh humbly denied, "What, you're even more beautiful than me." Jihan turned her around and asked, "What are you saying? You can never compare to my beauty." So she leaned her head on him, her heart felt like it wanted to jump out of her chest. Suddenly Jihan leaned his face close to Young-oh and said softly, "It's quite cold today. I'll help you warm up." And so the two shared a passionate kiss in the freezing snow. After a while, Young-oh interrupted that happy moment, "Wait." The worry in her increased more and more. "At this moment I wonder what emotions he will show." Young-oh finally used all her courage to confess, "I have something to tell you." Jihan also didn't get upset but gently told her, "Just say it, don't keep it in your heart forever." Young-oh hesitated. The thing is, because she was too nervous, she clenched her coat in her hands. Then she told him, "I'm so hungry." Jihan sighed in confusion, "I've been wondering why you refused to eat." "Okay, let's eat together." Young-oh smiled at him with gentle eyes. And so the main chef today is none other than Jihan. The two kept discussing enthusiastically, "What should we cook?" "I only have kimchi." After thinking for a while, the guy decided to show off his kimchi pancake. Jihan flipped the egg skillfully and caught the egg perfectly, no different from a professional chef. Young-oh sat watching him cook with fascination. "Even though I've seen you cook so many times, I'm still captivated like the first time." Before her sweet compliments, he smiled happily. Finally, the hot and fragrant kimchi omelette was served on the table. "It's done." Young-oh was also excited to enjoy it. "Let's eat." Jihan also didn't forget to remind his girlfriend. "You should eat more," she chewed and replied, "I've eaten a lot already, how can I eat all of this alone?" A few minutes later, the plate of food was clean without leaving anything. Young-oh smiled with happiness. "It's not in vain to wait, it's so delicious." Suddenly Jihan touched her forehead and asked how she was feeling now. She quickly reassured him, "I'm fine, I was fine from the beginning." Jihan glanced at her warningly, "Don't hide your illness." Young-oh only knew how to smile at him, and then she thought to herself, "I've decided, when everything is clearer I'll tell him. Everything will be okay." After eating, it was time for Jihan to leave. She was quite surprised that he had to leave so early. The guy said, "That's right, work is still waiting for me, let me clean this up." So before leaving, he carefully washed all the dirty dishes in the house. He also put the food in the refrigerator. Suddenly Jihan's eyes seemed to bump into something. He curiously turned his head to look. Then he found something on Young-oh's table that looked familiar. So Jihan went to take a look. The girl didn't know anything and happily came to him and said, "Ah, thank you for the coat." Taking this opportunity, he also seriously asked her, "What is this?" As soon as he finished speaking, Jihan turned around with the pregnancy test in his hand. Young-oh froze for a few seconds before this awkward situation. Without thinking much, she ran towards Jihan. Then snatched the stick from his hand. Then nervously threw it into the drawer. With his keen eyes, he soon discovered something else. The guy pulled the drawer open forcefully, revealing countless pregnancy tests inside. What are these? Before Jaehyun's questioning, the girl only knew how to stand silently in fear. Seeing her trembling like that, he suddenly realized that his actions were a bit too much. So Jaehyun gently put his hand on her shoulder and comforted her. Okay. Don't mind it, first you have to calm down. It's okay, nothing happened, we'll talk later, okay? When he got home, he put his coat on while talking. Before leaving, Jaehyun still didn't forget to tell Young-oh, I'll contact you later. After he left the room, Young-oh still stood silently for a long time. It was late outside. Young-oh lay listlessly on the bed. Suddenly the phone rang. She picked it up and saw that it was a call from her love. As soon as she picked up, Young-oh trembled and said, yes. On the other end of the line, Jaehyun immediately apologized. I'm sorry, did I wake you up? Did you put tangerines in my pocket? She sat up and replied, yes, please eat them. Jaehyun suddenly called her name in a serious tone. Young-oh, go to the hospital with me tomorrow. Young-oh sat blankly for a while. She still couldn't believe that he would say these words to her. Jaehyun kindly asked, you also need to get a pregnancy record book, right? I searched online and saw them say they would give you something like that. While talking, he fiddled with the proposal ring in his hand. Jaehyun's care and understanding made Young-oh extremely touched. Her eyes were teary as if she was about to cry. Because she couldn't control her emotions anymore, she burst into tears like a child. I thought you hated it. Seeing her like that, Jaehyun became even more worried. Why would I be like that? I'm sorry, so are you free? Let's meet and talk, then go to the hospital together. Young-oh became much more excited when she unloaded the burden in her heart. She smiled happily and agreed to his proposal. Jaehyun gently called Young-oh's name again in a warm voice. She asked curiously, anything else? He smiled and planned to say I love you. Those were the words I should have heard, but then I chose to hold back. And then finally he only knew how to say to Young-oh, nothing, good night. After hanging up, Jaehyun kept smiling to himself. Tomorrow I have to act. It might be a bit sudden, but it will definitely be great. Although we've never done that without using protection, but maybe there was a time we were careless. It's just a small mistake. Now everything has gone this far. I want to marry her as soon as possible. My dear Young-oh, I will build a dream with you. I will try to become better for you. I love you. The proposal ring was also ready to be given to Young-oh. Early the next morning. As soon as Jaehyun finished showering, his phone suddenly rang with a notification. Young-oh sent him a lovely text message, see you later. After reading it, Jaehyun also smiled in happiness. Looking at the way she texts, she must be very excited. He carefully stood in front of the mirror to fix his hair and clothes. In his head, he kept calculating the plan carefully. I need to go to the flower shop, so I should leave around 2 o'clock. While planning to choose his favorite tie, Jaehyun's mother suddenly called. As soon as he picked up, he quickly said, yes, I'm listening, Mom. The mother had a little doubt. Are you busy? The guy honestly replied, a little bit. She sadly told Jaehyun, how could you come yesterday without saying a word to me? I'm so sad. Hearing this, he only knew how to say 2 words, I'm sorry, I've been too busy lately. The mother looked at the family picture and kept complaining about Jaehyun, you're always spinning like a top. Mom has come home and played chess and had dinner with Dad. Jaehyun also asked a few questions, so everything is okay? The mother only sighed and recounted, nothing too bad happened to me, but a few days ago, someone threw eggs at your brother's car. There are so many weird people in the world. Be careful. Jaehyun smiled and reassured his mother, you don't need to worry about me. I need to pick her up early. There's someone I want to introduce to you. She was quite surprised after hearing this. Who is it? But Jaehyun insisted on keeping it a secret until the last moment. Okay, I'll call you back later. As soon as he finished speaking, his mother hung up. The guy sat silently for a few seconds. Then he put on a very elegant suit. And he didn't forget to bring the proposal ring. After preparing everything, Jaehyun quickly left the house. He always imagined a happy family with Young-oh and their unborn child. He couldn't imagine how lovely the child would be if it looked like you. And one day he would let our child print their first footprints on the white snow of the first season. He would teach them how to ride a bike, holding their hand. Holding them tightly to avoid all the cruelty of the world, he would look at them carefully and say that he loves them with all his life. Jaehyun pressed the down button to open the elevator. Finally, the guy managed to get out of the apartment. On the way to the car, he always looked at the watch. I'm not late, am I? While walking normally, suddenly there was a loud braking sound, making Jaehyun curious to turn his head to look. The bright light of the headlights shone directly on his face. Everything happened too quickly, so Jaehyun didn't have time to react. And the car still rushed towards him at the speed of light. In the blink of an eye, Jihan was lying on the ground. The impact caused a severe head injury. Syrup kept pouring out like a waterfall. No, this can't happen. Suddenly there were footsteps approaching Jihan lying down. He wore a baseball cap covering his face. That person suddenly asked Jihan, "Have you ever heard the name?" The guy was confused, not understanding what was going on. Before he could understand the situation, the stranger left. Jihan tried to use the last of his weak strength to beg him, "Don't, please save me." But in response to his plea was a loud roar of the engine. He brought his trembling hands closer to his coat pocket. It seemed he didn't have enough strength anymore. "It's not good, I haven't picked you up yet. What if you cry? I just want to be a place you can lean on. I want to have a happy life with you. What if you give up our child just because of me?" "But that's right, it's hard to raise a child alone. I love you, Young Oh, why didn't I tell you?" Even though he was in a critical situation, Jihan always cared about the girl he loved. Outside the emergency room, Jihan's mother kept crying and calling his name in extreme pain. The mother sobbed and complained about fate. "Why did this happen to my Jihan?" A group of police suddenly appeared and announced to her, "Sorry to bother you, we are from the Yongsan police station." "Are you Young Jihan's mother?" she asked, raising her tear-streaked face to look at the police officer. The police officer shared some more information about the case with the family. "The surveillance camera of that building was out of order, so we haven't found any clues yet. But instead, we were able to collect information about the license plate of the criminal from the black box. The hit and run was recorded, so we can trace the suspect's identity from there." The mother tremblingly grabbed the police officer's hand and said, "Please catch him, make sure to detain that person." The police asked her a few more questions. "The suspect's name is Kim Jin-gu. I don't know if you've ever heard of this name." Suddenly, a strange girl appeared and asked, "Are you detectives? I am a witness to that accident. I just moved into the office apartment that day, and when I went down to the parking lot, I witnessed everything." After reporting everything to the police, the girl hurriedly ran to Jihan's mother and knelt down, saying, "Mom, I'm Yunbai. I'm Jihan's friend, Chai Yunyap's sister. Do you remember me? I went to study in the US and transferred to Jihan's university. I just came back today." The mother vaguely remembered this girl, Yunbai. "So you're that Yunbai?" Unable to control her emotions, she hugged her tightly and sobbed, "Yunbai, what should I do?" The girl gently patted her to calm her down. "Mom, don't worry too much, his surgery will be fine. I'll go to the police station and come back here later. You should go home. I'll be here until the surgery is complete. I'll call you when it's done." At the police station, Yunbai reported everything she had witnessed to the police. The criminal was a man, his clothes and hat were all black. Estimated height of about 180 centimeters, his voice was quite deep. A serious voice rang out, "Kim Jin-gu has been caught." Hearing this, Yunbai stood up nervously to see the perpetrator's face. As soon as that name flashed across her face, she suddenly screamed and confirmed, "That's him, that's the criminal." He struggled and resisted. "What are you saying? Why are you doing this to me?" Yunbai ignored those words, pointed directly at his face, and said fiercely, "This voice is unmistakable, not even a slight deviation." The man was startled and asked, "Do you know me?" Outside the hospital, the police officer had a private meeting with Jihan's mother and updated her on some information. "Thanks to Chai Yunbai's testimony, we were able to catch the criminal immediately. I hope your son recovers soon. These are his things." The mother reached out and took her son's belongings. Returning to the hospital room, she was always by Jihan's bedside. Her face always showed a faint sadness. She gently used Jihan's fingerprint to unlock the phone. As soon as it turned on, dozens of messages from Young Oh appeared. Her expression gradually changed after reading the messages. "Where are you? We were supposed to meet at 3 o'clock, what happened? I can't contact you, I'm very worried. If you see the message, call me back immediately. Has something happened? Is it serious? Please answer me, please contact me, don't make me worry like this anymore." He said he wanted to go to the hospital together. After many days of waiting, Young Oh finally received a reply from Jihan, "Don't contact me anymore." After reading that harsh message, Young Oh began to feel uneasy. She paced back and forth in the room with a lot of thoughts in her head. Is this all he can write after 3 days? No way, he's not that kind of person. Something was very strange. Without a word, Young Oh put on her coat and quickly left. At Jihan's apartment, the mother stared at the picture on the shelf and then remembered what he had said on that fateful day. "There's someone I want to introduce to you, Mom." It turned out that this mother had bad impressions of Young Oh from the beginning. Lee Young Oh, a third-year university student, she's not even from a normal family. She's the child of a single mother. Are you going to bring her home to meet me? She crumpled the photo of Young-oh and Jaehyun together. Outside the hallway, Young-oh's voice suddenly rang out, "Appa, it's me, are you in there?" The mother slowly opened the door to welcome the guest. Young-oh was startled and panicked when she met Jaehyun's mother here. She stared at her with a murderous look. Young-oh also became flustered. "I'm sorry, is this not Young Jaehyun's house?" She immediately asked, "Are you Lee Young-oh?" The girl nodded in response, "Yes." She stood with her arms crossed and introduced herself, "I am Jaehyun's mother, come in." The mother glanced at Young-oh with a hateful look. Seeing her actions, she secretly despised her. She immediately took off her shoes when told to come in. She really grew up without a father. Seeing Jaehyun's mother's serious expression, Young-oh was scared and sweated profusely. She politely bowed and said, "Hello, I'm very happy to meet you." Before she could finish her sentence, she interrupted her. "What the hell are you doing, trying to open other people's doors?" Young-oh gently explained, "Jaehyun told me the password before." She snapped back, "The password has been changed. If you keep trying and can't get it, shouldn't you give up?" She worriedly asked, "I'm sorry, but has something happened to Jaehyun? I'm very worried about him." Her concern for him made the mother even more angry. She couldn't hold back anymore and said bluntly, "How long are you going to bother Jaehyun for? I've been wondering how much of a nuisance that person is that Jaehyun has to complain to me. If you understand, then don't look for him anymore." As soon as she finished speaking, she turned around and left. Seeing this, Young-oh quickly ran after her and grabbed her hand. "Mom, please, can you let me call him just one more time?" She decisively shook off Young-oh's hand and shouted loudly, "Who allowed you to call me mom?" "Because of you, my son." Her lips trembled uncontrollably. Jaehyun's mother used her last bit of kindness to warn Young-oh, "Leave while I'm still being nice and don't bother Jaehyun anymore." This request left Young-oh stunned. At the hospital where Jaehyun was being treated, his mother was always sitting by his side, confiding in him. The surgery was a great success. "So why haven't you woken up yet? It's been 2 weeks. Didn't you say you would never let me worry?" Yoonbai shyly appeared at the door of the hospital room. "Mom?" As soon as she saw her, her mood brightened up a bit. "Oh my, you're here, Yoonbai." She sat down and began to ask, "Have you rested at all, Mom?" She tried to smile brightly and said, "I'm fine." But Yoonbai was still very worried. "Don't be like that, you'll faint at this rate. At least you have to get some nutrition in your body, so I asked a doctor I know to make it for you." She still firmly reassured her, "I'm really okay." Yoonbai was determined to coax Jaehyun's mother to go home and rest. "I think he'll wake up today. I bet he'll look for you first when he opens his eyes, so you have to look at him with a face full of energy." She smiled happily when she met such an understanding girl. "She's so smart. I heard Yoonbai is the daughter of Judge Choi Seobok. She even received an excellent scholarship. Jaehyun should date someone like this." She turned her head and smiled at Yoonbai. "Okay, I'll listen to you then." She happily replied, "Yes, Mom, be careful on your way." She didn't forget to wave goodbye to Jaehyun's mother. Yoonbai suddenly became more cheerful. She put her handbag on the cabinet. Then she kept praising Jaehyun's manly beauty. "How can you be so handsome?" Yoonbai sat and admired his handsome face for hours without getting bored. "Should I steal a kiss? He won't know anyway." Just as she was about to act, a sudden voice rang out, startling her, so unexpected. Yoonbai was furious that someone dared to ruin her good deed. "You almost made me faint, Park Sung-gyu." He curiously asked Yoonbai, "Why are you so surprised? Don't we meet often?" This is Park Sung-gyu, Jaehyun's high school friend, as well as when he was in the military, the person Yoon-yup extremely hates, and of course, so do I. Yoonbai sighed and turned to talk to him. "Why are you here, Park Sung-gyu?" He casually replied, "What other reason would I be here for? Of course, to visit a friend." "That's right, something is very strange. Jaehyun's accident happened at 1:10, but the call to report the discovery came at 1:30. Moreover, the caller was a man." Hearing this, Yoonbai was a little startled. Sung-gyu felt a little curious, so he asked Yoonbai, "You said you were a witness to the incident. But you didn't report it immediately, did you?" She tried to remain calm and explained to Sung-gyu, "My phone was out of battery, otherwise I would have reported it as soon as possible." Hearing this, he felt even more unreasonable. "If the phone was out of battery, you could have run to the support room to borrow a phone to call." Yoonbai suddenly sat up in a panic. Jaehyun began to have unusual reactions. Sung-gyu and Yoonbai immediately called his name loudly. The guy took off the ventilator himself. As soon as he saw his best friend wake up, Sung-gyu teared up and asked, "Jaehyun, can you see me? Do you recognize me?" He looked at Sung-gyu with blank eyes. Then he gently asked, "Who is it?" Sung-gyu was stunned. He tried to ask again, "You don't know me?" "Park Sung-gyu, we went to the same high school and university, and I was your squad leader in the military. We've always been close, even when you were discharged. You really can't remember anything? Are you kidding me?" Jaehyun asked blankly, "The military? I went to the military?" Upon hearing the news that her son had woken up, the mother rushed to the hospital. She kept asking Jaehyun, "Are you okay? Can you talk? Do you know how worried I was?" Just because. Suddenly, Jaehyun's face became distorted, looking very painful. After receiving the doctor's diagnosis, she could only stand in the hallway with a sad expression. It seems that his memory from about 3 years ago has disappeared. He can only remember everything until he was 23 years old. Restoring his memory is the top priority. The family should try not to stress him too much. Yoonbi approached and tremblingly called her Mom. As soon as she saw her, Jaehyun's mother couldn't control her emotions and turned to respond, "Yoonbi. The doctor said that his memory from 3 years ago is gone. It's unclear whether those memories can come back or not." As she spoke, her hands trembled uncontrollably. Hearing this, Yoonbi was equally shocked. "Then he must have forgotten me too, right? Oh, maybe Mom doesn't know yet. Jaehyun was quite sweet to me. He said that we would become a couple when we returned to Korea, but he probably doesn't remember anything anymore." Her face lit up again when she heard this good story. "Isn't that great? You two can start over." Yoonbi shyly asked, "Do you really think so, Mom?" She replied without thinking, "Of course." Inside Jaehyun's hospital room, he sat on the hospital bed with a dazed expression. The mother came in and asked, "Are you awake? How do you feel?" He turned to reply, "Okay, I guess." Seeing her son like this, she couldn't hide the sadness that was clearly on her face. To make the atmosphere more cheerful, Jaehyun's mother changed to another topic. "So you've met Yoonbi before, haven't you? When you were unconscious, she came to take care of you every day." Fortunately, Jaehyun still remembered a little about her, Yoonyap's sister. She happily confirmed, "That's right, and also, do you remember this? Yoonbi said you liked her very much. Before you went to study abroad, you even wanted to date when you returned to Korea." After hearing her tell the story, he found it strange. "Really? That's weird, because Yoonyap's sister isn't my type." Jaehyun's mother immediately said a few good words for Yoonbi. "She's just a little quiet, but she's very pretty and kind. She's also very thoughtful to me." Suddenly, Jaehyun's headache came again. Seeing his uncomfortable expression, the mother was also very worried. "What's wrong? Does your head hurt again?" She could only sit and watch her son go through the pain without being able to help him. After a while, Jaehyun turned to reassure his mother, "I'm okay. It's just that I have a feeling that I've forgotten something very important." One day, Young-oh went to the hospital alone for a regular prenatal checkup. Seeing other people with their husbands taking care of them, Young-oh felt even more lonely. In order not to let anyone see her at her weakest, she quickly turned around and burst into tears. She had to vomit every day because of the baby in her belly. At times like this, Young-oh could only lie on the bed in exhaustion. Suddenly, the phone rang. As soon as she looked at the caller's name, she realized in a panic that it was Jaehyun calling. Young-oh forgot all her fatigue and sat up, saying, "Hello Appa." On the other end of the line, a voice asked, "Lee Young-oh?" Her eyes teared up again. It's really his voice. She said in a reproachful tone, "Why didn't you contact me? What happened? Do you know how worried I was?" Jaehyun politely replied, "Thank you, I'm fine." Young-oh got out of bed and worriedly asked, "Where are you?" "I'll come right away." Just when she thought they would be happy together again, Jaehyun said something that left her completely stunned. "I heard that Mom came to talk to you on my behalf. Everything is over, right?" She asked blankly, "What?" Jaehyun said bluntly, "That's enough to clarify the situation, right? It would be very troublesome if you continue to call me, so can you stop this? You don't want to ruin other people's lives, do you? If you continue to contact me, you better prepare yourself for the consequences." Young-oh tremblingly asked, "Consequences?" Jaehyun didn't explain anything further. He just sighed and said goodbye. "I'll assume that you understand, so I'll hang up now. Take care." Young-oh still couldn't believe what had just happened. "No way. This can't be real." She tremblingly called Jaehyun again. This must be a joke. The whole sky in Young-oh collapsed completely when Jaehyun didn't answer her phone even once. "The subscriber you are calling is temporarily unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep." Time passed quickly. Today is the first birthday of my child, the child said mama for the first time. I don't know where she learned it from, but sometimes she even says dada. Jihan, our little girl can run now. Today, she's going to kindergarten, she's very curious and eats very well. She also likes to touch my face, and sometimes hums cheerful nursery rhymes. Do you know that next year Yena will be in first grade? She is a lovely, cute and has many friends. Although she lacks the love of her father, Yena is still bright as the morning sun. I don't want to wait for you anymore. Outside the park, the little girl curiously asked her mother, Mom, why is there a toy vending machine here? Why did people put this here, Mom? This is the lovely little girl Liena. The little girl stubbornly asked her mother to explain it to her. Mom, why? Why? Young-oh chuckled and asked, Yena, are you asking that because you really want to know or because you want something in here? Be honest. Yena made a clever face and replied, because I want a toy. Young-oh had no choice but to give in to her. Okay, just one, okay? You're already so tricky at just 5 years old, just like someone. Then she gave Yena a few coins and told her, listen to Mom, just take one, okay? Yena happily ran to the machine and put the coins in. She quickly turned the control knob and a random egg fell out. Yena smiled brightly and showed it to her mother. Mom, look, it dropped right what I wanted. Young-oh was quite surprised. Yena likes this? The little girl smiled brightly and replied, yes, it looks like a ghost stone, one black and one white. Seeing her daughter have such mature hobbies, she felt happy in her heart. Young-oh sighed and told Yena, okay, put it in your bag and remember not to play with it outside. The little girl obediently followed. The hope that one day he would contact me has disappeared. Now that I think about it, he never said he loved me. I am happy with my current life, because God brought Yena to me. As soon as she got home, Yena called out to her grandmother, Grandma. She happily came out to greet her beloved granddaughter. My little princess is back, come sit down and eat. So the three of them sat down to have dinner together and talked lively. It's very delicious, Mom. Really? At the same time, Yena glanced at her mother as if she had a sneaky plan. Just as she was about to put the ball on the table, Young-oh quickly stopped her. Yena. I told you not to play with food. The little girl made a pouty face and replied, I'm sorry. The grandmother sat on the side, smiling at Yena's cuteness. Then she thoughtfully picked up a lot of food for her granddaughter. My little puppy should eat this too. Seeing the grandmother always spoil her granddaughter like that, Young-oh sighed and told her, Mom, let her do it herself. But she quickly retorted, but if you leave her alone, she won't eat. Hearing this, Yena immediately flattered her. It's okay, Grandma, just seeing Mom eat well makes me feel full. Before Yena's sweet words, both of them burst out laughing. I don't know what to say to this little puppy. After finishing dinner, Young-oh helped her mother clean up the dirty dishes on the table. Before she knew it, she snatched them away and told her, go inside quickly, you have to prepare for tomorrow's work. The girl asked blankly, what do I need to prepare for? The mother worriedly said, after all, it's the first day with the boss. Young-oh didn't have any worries at all and quickly helped her mother wash all the dirty dishes in the kitchen. I just need to relax, so please rest, Mom. The mother could only look at Young-oh with affectionate eyes. Early the next morning, she quickly left the house. I'm leaving. The mother didn't forget to remind her daughter, be careful, remember to eat lunch properly. Young-oh smiled brightly, hoping for a smooth day. On the way, she had a phone conversation with her boss. Yes, department head, I'm on my way. He immediately said, Assistant Lee, I plan to go to Gangnam. Hearing this, she was a little confused. Aren't we going to the headquarters in Ivory Planning? The department head announced a shocking news to her. The company has been sold to Max Planning. The official announcement was from yesterday, didn't you see it? Young-oh stood still for a long time. Everything happened quite quickly, so I was assigned to Max Planning without having to rewrite the labor contract. It's a little surprising, but I think I'll get used to it soon. Max Planning treats assistants much better. Anyway, I'll be moving there sooner or later, there's nothing to be afraid of. At Max Planning, Young-oh stood and carefully read the information board posted in the lobby. An advertising company owned by the Sohyang organization. At first, I thought I would be working at Ivory Planning, but then it was changed to Max Planning. Is that a good thing? Anyway, it's a big company and close to home too. Suddenly, a man approached and called her name, Lee Young-oh. The girl turned her head in a panic and replied, yes. The man greeted her with a smile, nice to meet you, I'm Park Sung-gyu, from the Human Resources Department of Max Planning. She replied awkwardly, hello. Then Gyu turned to say to his superior, team leader, this is our new content creator Lee Young-oh. She smiled brightly and introduced herself. Nice to meet you, I'm Song Miran, team leader 2 of the production department. Young-oh also politely shook hands. Nice to meet you. She secretly felt that she seemed very easygoing. The two of them went inside the elevator together. During that time, Miran took the opportunity to confide in Young-oh a little. You must feel quite confused when transferring from Ivory planning to here, right? She also honestly shared, yes, a little bit. Miran also did not hesitate to say, there is still no content creator in the team, that's why I sent a request for this area urgently. Young-oh followed behind the team leader. An eerily silent atmosphere was enveloping the entire office. Miran also found it strange. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? This is our new person, come here Assistant Lee Young-oh. Seeing that no one was too enthusiastic, Miran had to shout to get attention. Everyone, pay attention here. She is the new member of our team, her name is Lee Young-oh. The content creator of the team. This is the graphic designer Song Ki-hoon. He gave a bright smile and greeted Young-oh. Miran continued to introduce, over there is the deputy program director Park Young-kwang. He also waved to her. That's also the designer Go Yoonju. This person had a cold appearance, she turned to nod and said, nice to meet you. Yoonju's attitude made Young-oh a little startled, she doesn't look very comfortable. However, she tried to remain calm and replied, I'm looking forward to working with everyone. Team leader Miran also kindly led Young-oh to her desk. This is your workspace, let Song Ki-hoon introduce you to everyone in the company later. He immediately agreed. The bustling atmosphere suddenly disappeared again, everyone continued their work. Miran found it a little strange, so she whispered to Ki-hoon, what happened? I feel like the atmosphere has been tense since morning. He replied softly, Director Jong is here. Aren't you going to see him? Hearing this, Miran turned to Young-oh and said, oh, you don't have to greet everyone. Let's go for now, Assistant Lee. Although she was a bit curious, she could only follow along. During break time, Miran and Young-oh took a walk around the company. Taking the opportunity, the team leader also gave her some advice. Actually, the director is even scarier than the CEO. It's only been a week since he came here. Miran said with a serious expression, he's the chairman's son. Young-oh widened her eyes and replied, I understand. Coincidentally, the director Miran had just told her about was also there. Young-oh thought to herself, the chairman's son, he and I must belong to different worlds. Suddenly, Young-oh stopped abruptly. The director's face was clearly visible in front of her. Young-oh was extremely shocked to recognize that familiar face. Fate is truly a trickster. He's here. Young-oh's heart rate increased unexpectedly. She kept staring at the director, that body. That face, the person I couldn't mistake for anyone else. It's the father of Young Jae-hyun's child. Countless questions appeared in her mind. Why is he here? Jae-hyun walked slowly towards Young-oh. The closer he got, the more Young-oh's heart raced. Her hands and feet also began to feel weak. Unable to withstand this shock, Young-oh's entire body began to stagger, unable to stand firm. Just as she fell backward, Jae-hyun managed to grab her arm in time. They both looked into each other's eyes. No one could have imagined that Young-oh and Jae-hyun, after years of no contact, would meet again in this situation. I've imagined this happening once or twice, that one day we'd accidentally see each other. Every time, I reminded myself. I absolutely cannot be sad when I see you. After hundreds of thousands of times, it's still too much for me. Young-oh's body began to tremble violently, and the suppressed emotions seemed to burst out. Looking at the figure in front of her, Jae-hyun gave her a cold look. The two just stood there looking at each other for a long time. Miran was flustered, not knowing what to do. Finally, she had to break the terrifying silence. Miran introduced enthusiastically, Director, this is the new content creator of Production Team 2. She's Assistant Deputy Lee Young-oh. Jae-hyun was slightly surprised, a new person? Nice to meet you, he extended his hand forward to shake hers. By the way, my name is Young Jae-hyun. Seeing his cold and calm demeanor, Young-oh's eyes flashed with disappointment and then bewilderment. Is this your answer? In another noisy place, Dobin's scream echoed, and the boy pleaded helplessly, no, don't. I don't want to go in. I don't want to go to school. Dobin struggled with his mother, determined not to enter the classroom. His mother nagged immediately, I'll teach you a lesson when we get home. Dobin's mother began to complain, you were the one who said it would be fun to be on TV. Dobin gloomily hid in a corner. His mother continued to grumble, you insisted on joining the class from the beginning, and I paid for you to participate. Why are you changing your mind now? Dobin was very upset, but it was all his fault, so he had to endure it. He reluctantly followed his mother to the classroom, although he was still crying. At the classroom door, his mother encouraged Dobin and promised him a reward if he behaved well. "Honey, just 30 minutes, okay? If you go inside and sit and study for 30 minutes. I'll let you play games for 30 minutes when we get home." At this time, Dobin wiped away his tears, feeling a little happier, but still whined, "An hour." His mother sighed and agreed to the request. "Okay, then go inside quickly." Dobin obediently listened. His mother solved the first difficult problem, but she couldn't help but feel sad. It's always like this, always having to use video games as bait. Am I a good mother? Inside the Go classroom, Dobin sat in a corner sobbing, ignoring the fact that the other children were all practicing together. Suddenly, a girl came up to him and started talking to him. "Hey, don't cry anymore. Look here." The girl pulled up a chair and sat opposite him. Then, she held out her hand, palm down, on the table and said, "Do this." Dobin didn't understand why, but he obediently did as she said. The girl began to place Go stones on the back of Dobin's hand, 4 black and 1 white. Dobin was confused. "What is this? What are you doing?" The playful girl said, "If you drop them, I'll flick your forehead." Then, she gave a bright smile. Dobin's heart skipped a beat, and his cheeks began to flush. The girl introduced herself, "I'm Liana." "What's your name?" Dobin replied, "Park Dobin." The girl continued, "You go to Orlo kindergarten, right?" Dobin was startled. "How do you know?" Yenna said softly, "I saw your name on your backpack yesterday." The more the girl said, the faster Dobin's little heart beat. The fact that she had noticed him since yesterday impressed him even more. "She saw me yesterday?" Yenna returned to her own game. "Look, this is a white stone, and that's a black stone." "I know. Which one do you like?" Dobin shyly replied, "Black." Yenna took a white stone and placed it in the middle of the Go board. "Then I'll put my stone here to capture yours." "Do you know how to do it?" Dobin focused on thinking. Gently placing several black stones on the Go board. Until 4 black stones surrounded the white one. Yenna exclaimed in surprise, "So you know how to play?" The girl smiled, her face radiant. "If you know how to play, why were you crying? Don't be a crybaby." At this moment, Cupid officially shot Dobin. His heart skipped a beat. "I'm Park Dobin. I've never met a girl like this in my entire 6 years of life." Outside, Dobin's mother looked anxiously inside. "It's been 30 minutes, but he hasn't come out yet. Could he have been crying since then? Ah, here he is." But contrary to his mother's expectations, Dobin waved goodbye this time. Moreover, his face was brighter, and a smile bloomed on his lips, which surprised his mother. "Hey, he's smiling. My Park Dobin." Dobin ran straight to his mother, radiant as a flower, and shouted loudly. He jumped into his mother's arms and hugged her tightly. Seeing her son so happy, his mother felt relieved. "How was class? Did you have fun?" Dobin replied excitedly, "Yes, I loved it." His mother stroked Dobin's head and asked kindly, "So, what did you have the most fun with?" Dobin blushed and shyly asked his mother, "Mom, what are the signs that you've fallen in love with Dad?" His mother chuckled softly. "Oh my gosh, you even know about that?" Dobin nodded and smiled slightly. "Yes, because I felt that way today." His mother and Dobin left. The boy said excitedly, "Mom, from now on, I'll go to school diligently every day." Back at the company, Jihan focused on reading the report. But he still couldn't read it. "Why does that bother me so much? What's the name of the content creator from Team 2? The image of the girl he met that morning still made him think. She gives me a strange, rather uncomfortable feeling. At this time, a knock on the door suddenly rang, interrupting his thoughts. Miran entered and nodded slightly to greet the director. "This is the list of candidates." Jihan reached out to receive the documents from Mira. Skimming through a few pages. Suddenly, he spoke up and asked, "That new content creator. Did she have a health checkup before joining the company?" Jihan handed back the file. Mira received the question, which confused her. "Of course, it's mandatory." Jihan then said, "She looks like she could collapse at any moment. It seems like there's a problem with her health." Miran was flustered because after leaving the director, Young-Oh immediately became radiant. Maybe it's because of the director, but who would say that directly? Miran changed the subject. Maybe it's because she was too nervous. She looks quite outstanding, so. Jaehyun's expression suddenly became serious. He said sternly, does this seem like I'm joking? Miran was startled and stood still as a statue. Jaehyun immediately made a request, call assistant Lee Young-oh here right now. In the office, Young-oh was listening to a new colleague explain how to work on the computer. To submit your work, you can put it in the company's shared folder. It's quite convenient because you just have to drag it in. Young-oh nodded. Continuing to ask, at my old company, we used cloud storage. Aren't you worried about security? Ki-hoon immediately explained, that's why we have folder passwords. Young-oh was surprised, as if enlightened. Oh, passwords. Thank you, Ki-hoon. I've learned a lot. Ki-hoon was flustered. I've only shown you everything I know. After all, I've only been here for 3 months. At this time, Miran suddenly came to them. One side was happy and normal, while the other side, Mira, was a dark abyss. She called out, Assistant Deputy Lee Young-oh, Director Young is calling for you. Young-oh was surprised. Miran turned around and walked away listlessly. Don't mind me, let's go together. Young-oh looked at her faltering gait, feeling somewhat worried. She hurriedly ran to stop her. Team leader, I can go by myself. Miran shook her head and said, it's okay. I'll go with you, but be careful. It'll be quite terrible. Miran trembled and raised her hand in a thumbs up. Let's go. Seeing her pale face and hearing her reminder, Young-oh suddenly felt uneasy. Why? Soon, she hurried after the team leader, he looks like he doesn't know me at all. Is he planning to ask me to quit? Tell me to get lost because I'm interfering with his life? Miran knocked on the door. Then, she pushed the door open and entered. Director, I brought Assistant Lee Young-oh here. Jaehyun stood up. Then, he walked over to Young-oh. Are you okay? Young-oh was surprised. At this time, Jaehyun explained, earlier, when we met, you seemed quite uncomfortable. Young-oh didn't understand even more, her face blank. Jaehyun continued to scold, hitting her sore spot. You applied for Ivory Planning but ended up in Max Planning. You're disappointed that you didn't get into the company you wanted, right? Because Max Planning is better in every way. Young-oh began to feel uncomfortable. Why did he call me up here and rant about this? Jaehyun asked the decisive question, can you do this job well? Young-oh sighed and replied casually, yes. Jaehyun smiled slightly. Mocking her, I thought you would answer better since you're in the creative field. Young-oh hesitated, thinking, did he bring me up here just to tease me? Young-oh replied angrily, when I'm working, I'll be different. I'll do my best. Only then did Jaehyun happily let her go. Okay, I'm looking forward to the results you bring. In the afternoon, when the sun had flooded in. As Jaehyun was about to put on his vest to leave, a knock on the door suddenly rang. Sung-gyu peeked his head in and asked, Director, are you planning to go home? Jaehyun said helplessly, please act normal. Sung-gyu entered and continued happily, I'm still not used to it. It feels like you're out of my reach, Director. Jaehyun suddenly suggested, should I transfer you somewhere else so you can get used to it? Sung-gyu was shocked. What? Seriously? Jaehyun then gave a sly smile. Seeing that sly face, Sung-gyu was furious. Hey, I got a heart attack because of you. Don't joke with me like that. Every time you say that, I always think you're being extremely serious. Jaehyun listened to those nagging words. Suddenly, he asked back, is it really that scary when I say that? Sung-gyu exploded and shouted, of course. It's even scarier when you ask like that. Jaehyun was slightly sad and lowered his head, mumbling, so I'm really scary. Sung-gyu was surprised. What? What's wrong? Jaehyun explained, the employees. The two entered the elevator and continued their conversation. Oh, I know Assistant Deputy Lee Young-oh. She works in content creation. Is something wrong? Jaehyun said calmly, her face turned pale when she saw me. Sung-gyu sighed and frowned. Do you think there are only 1 or 2 people like that? Suddenly, Sung-gyu thought in another direction. Wait, he saw her face. Young Jaehyun, I know. Sung-gyu said in a suggestive tone, I understand. My friend, that assistant is pretty, isn't she? Jaehyun coldly ignored him and changed the subject. Did you bring the car out yet? Seeing his friend not answering, Sung-gyu smiled even brighter. I bet something happened. Look at the way he's avoiding the question. Just as the elevator opened, Sung-gyu changed the topic. What are you going to do? If you don't have anything to do you want to come to my house? Why should I go there? Sung-gyu explained, your mother, the supreme being, told me to invite you out to play sometimes. You have to get along with your family so you can get married quickly. Jaehyun was bored. Why do you have to care about those words? Just pretend to listen to her. Sung-gyu sighed again. There was no way to deal with him. Pretend? Do you think I'm like you? Jaehyun said goodbye to Sung-gyu, I'm leaving first. He walked out to the driver who was waiting. The only life I have to pretend is the life I don't regret losing 3 years to. Is the life where I just have to maintain everything as it is without effort. I'm living such a bland life. Jaehyun returned to the cold house, turning on the lights for some light. He took off his vest and tie and threw them casually on the chair, gently placing his watch on them. The image of Lee Young-oh appeared in his head again. Jaehyun suddenly thought, I'll say I like women with longer hair more. Is it because of her name? Jaehyun took out a bottle of medicine. He always had a strange obsession with 12 o'clock. He took the medicine, thinking about exactly 12 o'clock kept appearing in his head. Young-oh, Lee Young-oh. Jaehyun walked out listlessly, collapsing onto the chair, closing his eyes to rest for a bit. Suddenly, there was a beeping sound outside the door. The sound of someone entering. Jaehyun opened his eyes slightly. The woman entered. Jaehyun widened his eyes. What a surprise, the person in front of him was the person he had been thinking about, Lee Young-oh. Jaehyun stammered, what's wrong? What are you doing here? Young-oh pursed her lips, unable to hold back her emotions. She rushed towards him quickly. Then, she hugged Jaehyun tightly. Young-oh looked up at him. Then, she slowly moved closer, placing a kiss on his lips that she had been holding back for so long. Jaehyun was dazed, still not understanding what was happening. But subconsciously, he responded to her. Jaehyun lifted Young-oh onto his body, pushing her down on the chair. Suddenly, he fell off the chair. Jaehyun opened his eyes. Panting, it turned out to be just a dream. Jaehyun looked around from the bedroom to the kitchen, there was no one there. Jaehyun blamed himself, I'm crazy. You're going crazy, Jaehyun. Young-oh, while walking on the empty road, was angry with the thought, why are there such strange people in the world? Did he really call me up to the office just to say that? After returning home, her mind was still lingering with the thought, that's not the young Jaehyun I used to know. No, certainly the young Jaehyun from then on was fake. I didn't even know he was the young chairman of an entire corporation. Whatever, I don't care. Perhaps because I had Yena, her thoughts were suddenly interrupted by the welcome hug of her little daughter. Young-oh also quickly responded to the girl with a gentle voice, Mommy's little princess. Her mother was also shouting from the small kitchen, aren't you supposed to work overtime today? Young-oh nodded in confirmation, yes, it's my first day. Then she didn't forget to examine her daughter, how was Mommy's Yena today, was school fun? The girl also responded with an enthusiastic attitude, Mom, today I made a new friend at school. This information made Young-oh feel very surprised and asked back, do you even know what friends are? Are you already best friends? Yena immediately shook her head to correct. Not yet, he doesn't know anything about Go. Young-oh at this time also gently explained, then you should show him, what's his name? Yena immediately gave the answer. Park Do-bin, making her happily ask more, is it a boy? Then Yena continued the story with another piece of information, both yesterday and today, his mother came to school. I think she'll come tomorrow too. Seeing the current appearance of the girl, Young-oh hurriedly asked, are you jealous of friend Do-bin? But the girl immediately responded, no. Yena hesitated for a moment and then frankly admitted, actually, there is a little. This made Young-oh feel extremely guilty, Mommy's princess, I'm sorry, it's not that I've never thought how much easier everything would be if your father was here. But, didn't he recognize that I had his child? Or does he think I abandoned the baby? He must have many other women, right? Surely, he's the kind of person who would open his heart to anyone, should I give up? Early the next morning, while Jaehyun was eating with his parents, involuntarily, he reached out and kneaded his shoulders, causing his mother to suddenly feel worried, what's wrong, son, are you feeling unwell anywhere? Jaehyun also immediately gave a perfunctory reason, I just didn't get enough sleep, secretly muttering to himself while remembering what happened yesterday, I can't say I left the sofa when I was asleep. His father also deliberately gave a reminder, you should keep a calm state when standing in front of employees. Dad doesn't want to cause any misunderstandings. How's the new job, is it worth it? As soon as he heard this, he spoke up to confirm, "It's fine." His strictness made Jaehyun's mother hurriedly interrupt, "Honey, Jaehyun hasn't been home for a long time, and all you can talk about is work." "Oh, Yoonbai also works at the company with you." Her words did not receive attention from Jaehyun as he was evading the topic. "What about my brother?" Jaehyun's father also happily announced, "I heard he was sent on a sudden business trip." After returning to the living room, he felt extremely empty. "I'd always feel very strange every time I go home to my parents. My childhood memories are very clear, but I don't remember anything from the last 7 years." Since realizing that, I felt like I was struck by lightning. His train of thought was suddenly interrupted by a loud call. "Son, what are you doing?" Jaehyun turned his head and answered, "Just messing around, Dad, what's up?" She replied in a gentle tone, "He just left for work. Mom told Dad to tell you, but he seemed to be in a hurry." Jaehyun quickly said goodbye, "Then I should go too." But when she nodded in agreement, "Okay, be careful," he suddenly called out, "Mom. The 3 years of my lost memories." "What happened?" Jaehyun's mother's face suddenly changed. Then she forced a smile and explained, "You went to the military." Nothing special happened. Causing Jaehyun to quickly fall into thought, so that's probably the reason. She quickly advised her son, "Losing your memory simply means you don't have to worry about the past anymore." Then Jaehyun's mother came to his side again. With a whisper, "Do you remember? You used to have a small mark right here. Mom can know what you're thinking by looking at it. Every time you feel bad, it turns red." He quickly confirmed after hearing this information, "I remember, that's why I use my hair to cover it up, because it's quite uncomfortable for me to have my thoughts red." At this time, she deliberately reminded him, "If you're having any problems, can you tell Mom?" Jaehyun happily agreed to reassure his mother, "I understand." She quickly gave him a warm hug, "Mom loves you. You are all I have." After arriving at the company, Young-oh secretly complained, "I couldn't sleep at all last night, but I still have to go to work." Her colleague greeted her warmly, "Good morning," making Young-oh feel better. "Ki-hoon, you're here early today too?" He replied with a bright smile, "Yes, I'm still new anyway. Would you like to go to the break room with me? I can show you how to use the coffee machine." Young-oh nodded in agreement after hearing the offer, "Sure, wait for me to put some things down first." While she was rearranging things in her bag, she heard a familiar voice, "Guess who we have here?" "Young-oh, is that really you? Do you remember me?" "Young-oh, it's me, Chaeun Bin." She immediately replied, "I remember you, Chaeun Bin. There's no way I could forget you." She was still very happy, "It's great to see you again. How have you been?" Young-oh had to politely reply, "I'm fine." "Do you work here too?" Bin friendly took her hand, "Yes, I work in content creation." "So you're the assistant production manager. How long have you been working here?" When Young-oh answered, "Only about a year," Bin exclaimed in surprise, "Really? What have you been doing?" She paused for a moment, then continued to boast, "I'm already a manager here." Young-oh and Yoonbai were classmates throughout the first year of high school. She always asked her about the things she brought to class. "Do you like it, Young-oh?" "I never touch it." Although she tried to refuse, "No, thanks. I don't wear makeup." Yoonbai kept pulling her, "You're already pretty, so if you wear makeup, you'll look like an angel. And this is a branded item." But Young-oh continued to refuse, "Thank you, I really don't need it." Her classmates spoke up, "She doesn't need it, Yoonbai." But Young-oh's attitude didn't change with her final words, "Sorry." That was the only time she talked to Yoonbai. A few days later, while getting food in the cafeteria, Young-ho called out, "Mom," but she signaled him to be quiet. Young-ho's mother was working in the kitchen, which caught Yoonbai's attention and she secretly watched them. Then she quickly went to get food. Young-ho's mother, despite being exhausted from the hot working environment, cheerfully wished Yoonbai, "Enjoy your meal." Unexpectedly, she was met with a harsh attitude, "Hey, you. How can you blatantly scoop food with those wet hands? You have to change your gloves." Young-oh's mother, though a little surprised, quickly complied, "I'm sorry, I'll change them and get you another tray. However, I used my sleeve to wipe, not my hands. Anyway, I'm very sorry. Enjoy your meal." Yoonbai committed an outrageous act by deliberately spilling the soup. The loud noise caused Young-oh to look up. The cafeteria became noisy, causing the manager to appear immediately and question, "What's going on?" A friend of Yoonbai deliberately accused Young-oh's mother. She threw the soup at Yoonbai after he gave her advice on hygiene issues. Although her mother tried to explain, "No, it's a misunderstanding," she still made an unreasonable request, "Apologize." You're an adult, you shouldn't act like this. You should apologize like a responsible adult. Young-oh, unable to watch any longer, angrily left the table. But her steps suddenly stopped. When she saw her mother constantly shaking her head, she whispered, "Don't come here," causing